The set of Get Up. I'm Mike Greenberg. He's Jay Williams. We'll be together with you in just a few minutes here as we take you through the morning in sports and obviously the overwhelming story. Jay, the suspension of the NBA season late yesterday. What was your initial reaction?
I said hours before, I thought the league needed to postpone all games, playoffs and finals. I think the NBA was a little bit late to the game. I thought they dragged their feet a little bit, honestly, when you saw the report coming out from Woj that a lot of the independent teams had different takes on it. I thought Adam Silver needed to put his foot down. Look, the reality of this is, to be frank, every gaming event needs to be postponed. March Madness needs to be postponed. Conference tournaments need to be postponed. We need to have conversations about the Olympics, Greeny. I know it's only a couple months away from now in Tokyo, Japan, but we need to start talking about this stuff. And it's okay for us to take a second and pause and think big picture instead of having a narrow focus. We'll have more tournaments. We'll have more NBA finals. We need to do this in the best interest for our people and for our society.
We'll be talking about this and obviously bringing you all of the very latest news and information relative to it. We will have Charles Barkley live on our show this morning. We'll have Jay Billis and plenty more. So we hope you will get up with us in just a few minutes here on ESPN. Right now, let me get back up to SportsCenter.
Thanks, guys. So with the NBA.
To the headline of the morning, though, the headline in all of sports. It's why we have Brian Windhorst back with us. And Wendy, you just told us what's going to happen to the Jazz and the Thunder. What's next for the rest of the NBA after word Wednesday night that the season has been suspended?
Well, Randy, the players, coaches, and staff members in the league last night were shaken. As I reached out to people across the league, they were striving to get tests. They were not prepared for this. They were not prepared for it to enter their lives so quickly. So they have to do what's most important, which is take care of their players and staff. Get them testing, find out if anybody else has the issue, and deal with it. And then I think there has to be a plan, and I think it was tremendous for Mark Cuban to be the voice of the league last night, to be an owner and a billionaire, to come out and say that there needs to be plans in place for the arena workers. I thought that was incredible leadership. And there's opportunities going to be more for leadership in pro sports in the short-term future. But the NBA's got to make sure their players are taken care of, and that's what's happening today and over the next couple of days.
It's a tremendous point about Cuban because, listen, this is a peer group, right, of which we can only hope to aspire. But when you have someone out in front put that out there, hopefully other owners follow suit. So back to the fans here. How long can fans realistically expect this league-wide suspension in play to last?
Yeah, the best thing I can say is I don't know. But what I will say is if we look to what happened in China, and I know that it's not apples to apples and it's different, but it's what we have. The Chinese Basketball Association in China, they really felt these effects in January. The CBA shut down in the third week of January, and they are now beginning the process after successful efforts, by the way, through quarantine to stem the disease spread in that country. About 8 to 10 weeks later, they're getting ready to play again at the beginning of April. I can't say that's what's going to happen in the NBA. All I can say is that's what happened in China, and that's the one guideline that we have to go forward. What I will say is this. The NBA has asked teams to check and report back their arena availability until August 1st. So they are preparing for the possibility of just pushing back the playoffs, pushing back the finals into July and possibly even later. I do think that they want to have a season, but obviously we've got to focus on everyone's health in the short term.
Okay, I don't know about you. That is the first time I'm hearing that they have asked arenas to look at availability here until August 1st, possibly bringing into notion here that this is a true suspension as opposed to a suspension.
Yes, Randy,
with the
and they've also,
yeah.
They haven't been sitting totally on their hands. They have also looked at relocating and rescheduling the draft combine, the draft. All scouts have been pulled off the road. We're going to see just a pause right here. It's really going to be in all of America. But since we're talking about sports on this network, there's going to be a pause in sports. Doesn't mean it's over. It's just pause.
All right, so much of the league year contingent upon this. It's Brian Windhorst with the very latest for us on SportsCenter AM. And we say this and we get annoyed when we do it just in conversation, if the season ended today.
But there is a legitimate pause happening at this moment.
So if it were the case, 15 of the 16 playoff spots right now are essentially locked up, right? 15 squads, according to our Basketball Power Index, have at least a 99.9% chance of making the postseason. The only playoff spot really up for grabs is that last spot in the West, where the Grizzlies lead the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, and the Kings by.
And I'm Stephen A. Smith. I'm here with yours truly, Brian Windhorst. He's sitting right next to me. Lots of stuff to get into. The league was on the phone all day today, talking to its owners, Commissioner Adam Silver, and of course, the 30 owners or so. What can you tell us about what transpired today?
Yeah, there's really kind of two things going on right now, Stephen A. One is they've got to have immediate planning for how they're going to handle the next few days, because obviously we're seeing all of these fans taken out of arenas, Fans are going to be taken out of NBA arenas very soon, all across the board. If they don't make the decision is going to get made for them. They're aware of that. The second thing is long-term planning. Taking a look at arena schedules, talking with team officials, and seeing what the feasibility is of potentially delaying the season, leaving that open as an option that they research.
Let's bring in our very ultimate insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA insider. Talk to us. You've been working the phones all day. You've been all over this story, Woj. Talk to us about what you've learned. You just tweeted something a few minutes ago.
That's right, Stephen, Brian. The greater consensus right now among NBA teams is to continue playing the season, but without fans in arenas. The league is going to make a decision by Thursday, by tomorrow, on next steps. But there's a push in this league right now to continue the season without fans in the arena. Another consideration on that owner's call with the league today, I'm told, was the idea of taking a hiatus, stepping back from the season, postponing games, potentially canceling regular season games. But right now, there's a greater push, a much greater push, I'm told, with the league in just continuing to play games, but do it without fans in the arena. And one thing that I know the league office, certainly teams all want, they don't want lost games, and they want to try to keep these games on television.
I know that you talked about there's a stronger push to just not have fans in there, Woj, but how strong, if you can tell us at all, is the push, at least by some of the owners, to actually postpone or cancel some of these games?
Well, I think it's everyone's preference to keep playing, but I think it's been part of the conversation. They have talked about everything from moving games from one arena in a city to the away arena based on the schedule of a night's games, even looking at games at neutral sites, maybe even in non-NBA cities. But right now, the push is to continue playing games with the current schedule we have in arenas that are going to be empty, following the lead of what the NCAA did with the college basketball tournaments today, which is to play them for the foreseeable future in empty arenas. But the league office, Adam Silver ultimately is going to decide that, I'm told, by tomorrow. They have to get moving in a direction here. And certainly the consensus, again, that I'm told, along with Zach Lowe, is to continue playing the games without fans.
Wendy, let's get back to you here. What do you think ultimately will happen here? Because even though there are no cases of NBA players having contracted the virus, in the same breath, there's got to be obviously a very palpable fear of that. What do you think leads to them ultimately making this decision and just sticking with one decision over the other?
If Woj says that the owner's consensus is to keep playing, he's right. Woj is always right. I'm just going to tell you, I'm looking at what happened in China and I'm looking at what happened in Italy. And in both those cases, they tried to continue those leagues, especially in Italy, without fans in the soccer league, and it just did not work. Mm-hmm. And now today we have a reported case of a Juventus player, one of the most powerful, biggest teams in Italy, coming down with the coronavirus. I think that eventually you're going to see the leagues have to suspend. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to suspend play from a just player health standpoint and from a financial standpoint, because one of the things that's going to happen here, that every game you play without fans, it's millions and millions of dollars. And in the playoffs, where ticket revenue is a vital part of the NBA's revenue pie, it's going to be probably between $100 and $200 million lost if they play playoff games without it. And not that revenue would lead here, right, but it's going to be a factor.
Woj, Adam Silver is the commissioner of the National Basketball Association. Do you anticipate him making this call or ultimately putting it to a vote? I know he had conversations with league owners, but is this going to simply come down to the commissioner making a call, or is he going to look for the owners to vote on it? What can you tell us about that?
I think Stephen, somewhere in between that with Adam silver. I don't know that there's a specific vote here, but part of what he wanted to do today was to hear his owners out in a group setting. There's been a lot of one-off conversation certainly recently, but in the end, this is the commissioner's decision, and he's got to make it in partnership, not just with the other owners. They met with the Players Association today, and in that meeting, they told the Players Association their goal was to try to keep, again, playing the games